Batman, arguably the most iconic superhero in history with a plethora of different iterations and retellings, which is why today, I'll be matching up these different iterations to see which version of the Caped Crusader reigns supreme as the strongest. As we all know, Batman has survived the test of time and there are countless versions of him, so for the sake of this video, and to make this interesting, I'll only be scaling the versions of them that have feats to go off of. In this video, I'll mostly be focusing on his animated, video game, live action, and mainline comic counterparts, and throughout this video, I'll be using calculations to showcase the difference in strength between these different versions while ranking them. With all that out the way, let's get into it. Starting off at the bottom, we have the Robert Pattinson version of Batman. His best display of durability was surviving an explosion from the Riddler's bomb, which is calculated at around 3 million joules. Although he was knocked out by this explosion, this would still comfortably place his durability at wall level. Naturally, his attack potency would fall within that range as well. On top of that, his suit's been shown to be able to stop small caliber bullet fire and somewhat protect him from large caliber bullets at point blank ranges. His combat and reaction speeds are at a peak human level to low tier superhuman levels, placing his reaction speeds at around 30 miles an hour at a low end to 40 at a high end. Furthermore, he boasts a level of mastery over the martial arts that few can rival, being a master of karate, taekwondo, eskrima, kali, arnis, seilat, muay thai, boxing, and kickboxing. Telltale Batman's at a similar point in his career as Pattinson, and although this is a more tech-based Batman, don't let that fool you. When the time comes, this Batman has shown remarkable strength, kicking Lady Arkham through a stone pillar in their final fight, which is a casual wall-level feat, and take a beating from heavy hitters like Bane. He's also been shown to be able to blitz and tag mercenaries and trained fighters, and just outright dodge bullets as well, putting his combat and reaction speeds on a way higher level. But what really places him above Pattinson is his wide range of gadgets, most notably being his detective vision, which would give him a massive advantage against Pattinson. So although they're both relatively young and inexperienced Batman, Telltale's been through more of his rogues, showcased far more skill against stronger opponents, and has more options in his utility belt, on top of the fact that he just outright scales to and over Pattinson.
You are?
Yeah. I'm man.
Keaton's version of Batman's in the same ballpark of durability and attack potency as Pattinson and Telltale, being able to punch through his own Batmobile, tank bullets, and even his own Batwing explosion. His combat speeds, however, is very impressive, with him being able to casually deflect a 357 round bullet, which can move as fast as 380 meters per second, and even being fast enough to perception blitz a thug, placing explosives on him without him even noticing, before just outright killing the man, giving Keaton's Batman subsonic combat and reaction speeds, placing his speed on a tier above Telltale. Now when it comes to his skill, this is where things get really interesting. In interviews, the fight director of the Burton Batman films stated that he created Batman's fighting style on concise movements that didn't expend too much energy, and in the official movie books, Batman's said to be a master of ninjutsu. Other fighting styles he's proficient in include Hapkido, Shokan Karate, Taekwondo, Eskrima, Aikido, boxing, and street fighting. At first glance, when looking at the skill of these three, they seem to edge each other out, but it's important to note that Keaton's Batman has way more experience in honing and perfecting his abilities compared to Pattinson and Telltale Batman, who are still relatively early in their journey, whereas Keaton's Batman was more established, with his version of Batman no longer being a myth, giving him a slight edge. The Christian Bale variant of Batman would be at a level above this, with this case being interesting. When going off his showings in his trilogy, he would be in the tier below, but if we look at his showings in the animated film Gotham Knight, which was confirmed to take place after Batman Begins, paints a completely different picture of what this Batman is capable of. In his fight against Deadshot, he was able to dodge Deadshot's gunfire at point blank range. I also don't think that chalking this feat up to aim dodging is applicable to this feat, because Batman was shown dodging the bullets after they've already been fired, which would mean that Batman would have to see the bullets and move at supersonic speeds to dodge, which would give him reactions that are over 10 times faster than Keaton. This is also supported by the fact that he was able to punch a sniper bullet out of mid-air, preventing it from hitting Jim Gordon. Towards the end of the fight, Deadshot's helmet was durable enough to survive hitting a metal pillar while on top of a moving train at high speeds. This is important because Batman pretty much one-tapped Deadshot, and he hit him so hard that he not only broke his helmet, but dented a part of the train as well. A feat that would require 4 million joules of energy to perform, well over the energy and explosives that knocked Pattinson out. All in all, this pretty much means that the Nolan vs. Batman would pretty much be able to manhandle the Batman under him with ease. Right above Bale, we have the DC animated movie version of Batman, who honestly has fought and defeated way more impressive adversaries than Bale's Batman, being able to casually thrash the likes of Deathstroke, making him look like a complete amateur, the same Deathstroke who could give Ra's al Ghul and Damian a good fight. He also scales above Batwoman, who's able to dodge bullets at point blank ranges, and he's even skilled enough to effortlessly tag and outskill the likes of Talon and Nightwing. All of this pretty much clocks this version of Batman's combat speeds at around mid to high end supersonic. He's been shown kicking a parademon through a chimney, which is a wall level feat, but with his explosives, he can hit even higher levels of AP, with them being able to completely obliterate parademons, meaning that his explosives have small building levels of energy behind them. Although he may not hit as hard as these other versions, he likely just outskills them. Next up, we have a near tie with these two criminally underrated versions of Batman, who both boast feats that are eerily similar. That being the youngest version of Bruce from the 2004 series, The Batman, and his counterpart from the Beware the Batman series. Just to give you a quick rundown, Beware the Batman was durable enough to endure blows from Killer Croc, who's capable of fragmenting concrete, and when looking at the violent fragmentation of said concrete, it would pretty much give Croc 24 million joules or small building levels of energy in his strikes, which, as I said earlier, Batman would scale to, making him 6 times more durable than the tier below. On top of that, he was shown evading shotgun bullets while being confined in a dark elevator, removing the possibility of this feat being a byproduct of aim dodging, since he was in complete darkness and wouldn't have been able to see the guns. The Batman from the 2004 series would be a tad bit over this level, with his calc durability feats also involving his version of Croc, who's also capable of fragmenting large walls of concrete. And again, since Batman can take and survive blows from Croc, he'd also be in the small building level tier, which is further supported by him combating the likes of Dracula and a Venom-amped Bane, characters who are shown to be way above Croc's pay grade, with Dracula being capable of shattering stone pillars, a feat that's 5 times over Beware the Batman's heaviest hitter. In addition, this version of Batman's been shown dodging bullets, lasers, flamethrowers, and rockets at point blank ranges, thus placing his reaction speeds in the high supersonic ranges. So the two of them are at very comparable levels, but what prompted me to put the 2004 Batman above him was just how much more prowess as a tactician he's shown in comparison to Beware the Batman, employing strategies and gadgets that dwarf that of his other counterpart, utilizing jetpacks, flashbangs, retractable claws, and ice pellets just to name a few. Not only does Beware the Batman not have the utility, unfortunately his series was cancelled in only 2 seasons, so we really missed out on his development and the development of his utility belt, whereas in the 2004 series, we're able to see Bruce grow from the 25-year-old in his 3rd year as Batman in the 1st season to an experienced Batman worthy of being one of the founders of the Justice League. Right above that lies Lego Batman from the Lego Batman video game trilogy. Due to him being significantly smaller, I'll be scaling him as if he and his world were life-size. Throughout his games, he's had very impressive showings, being able to survive and endure attacks from the Joker's mech, a Justice League level threat that was shown shattering the foundation of Wayne Tower and devastating the entire building, feats that would fall in the small building level tier of power, which Batman's durability would scale to. Furthermore, he scales to and above certain master builders who can convert building-sized objects into anything of their choosing in seconds in the midst of combat, and he's also shown through the course of the games being able to dodge bullets, missiles from mechs, and machine gun fire while being off guarded. He also scales above characters like Wildstyle and Gandalf the Grey, characters who can evade blaster bolts at varying ranges, further solidifying Batman's combat speeds in the supersonic ranges. But what really makes him dangerous is his seemingly endless repertoire of suits, each with their own unique abilities that he can change to at a moment's notice while in combat. Say the 2004 Batman takes the fight into the air, he can use a space suit. If he takes too many volts from these versions, he can swap into his electricity suit, and so on and so forth. Arkham Batman comes in next, and when looking at his durability and his attack potency, look no less to his showings against Bane, where he was able to brush off being punched right through a brick wall. When looking at the wall's size and thickness, makes this a feat calc to small building levels of energy. He's fast enough to go to blows and beat the likes of Deathstroke and even stalemate and outperform Lady Shiva, who is stated to have unrivaled martial arts skills and is capable of handling a vast majority of his rogues over the course of a single night while being physically and mentally nerfed. He's also stated in the character bios to be an expert in most known forms of martial arts, likely being a master of hundreds upon hundreds of martial arts, giving him unparalleled hand-to-hand prowess compared to every other Batman so far on this list, allowing him to combat small armies of trained mercenaries who were taught to counter each and every one of his tactics and still coming out on top. Arkham Batman has been shown being able to react to and dodge many forms of military weaponry such as bullets, rockets, and grenade launchers, but this isn't anywhere near his true speed because in the Arkham Knight character bios, it was revealed that Catwoman was able to dodge an arc of electricity fired out by a militia drone. Since electricity moves at Mach 1300, this would mean that Catwoman and by proxy Batman would have massively hypersonic reactions. Just to give some context to how fast that is, this feat would make him over 400 times faster than his Lego counterpart. Not only is the skill gap massive, he would quite literally speed blitz each and every one of these other versions, akin to what he did to Deathstroke in Arkham Knight. I also feel it's important to mention that we only got a taste of Batman's true speed in Arkham Knight, due to his prior suits and his other games hindering his movements. So much so that he literally has to switch into his newest and latest Batsuit in Arkham Knight to be able to move at his true speed. But with Batman being presented as the ultimate threat in the upcoming Suicide Squad game, it's likely we haven't truly seen his limits. The Brave and the Bold variant of the Caped Crusader would be next up, and just a quick disclaimer for the sake of this video, I won't be including the version of him that got amped by Dr. Fate, because he just unironically stomped everyone on this list and have an agenda to push. Moving on, he's been shown being capable of briefly throwing hands with characters like Gorilla Grodd and Kroll the Eternal, characters who are consistently portrayed to be in that small building level range of strength, which is supported by Batman being able to casually send Kroll flying, putting him in the lower level ranges of small building level. He's been shown being able to dodge electricity in pretty much every conventional form of military weaponry, but his best speed feat that surprised surprisingly isn't discussed more was shown during his fight against Quill, where he was able to dodge Quill's crazy lasers in multiple instances, with Quill's lasers being fired out of a stimulated emission light amplifier, which are essentially highly concentrated beams of electromagnetic radiation, with the speed of said radiation moving at the speed of light, and judging off the distance the beam was fired when he dodged it, would put this feat in the relativistic ranges of speed, which is 87 times faster than anything Arkham Batman could logically react to. Never underestimate the hammers of justice. After that comes in Affleck, who's an absolute unit of a Batman, being able to swing Superman right through 4 large pillars, a feat that is calculated at 618 million joules of energy, or high-end small building levels of force, making him notably stronger than his Silver Age inspired counterpart. Another thing I think is important to mention is that Affleck's suit doesn't boost his strength at all. In an interview, Zack Snyder confirmed that Affleck's suit doesn't increase his strength, only saying it increases his durability. He's also fast enough to blitz and overwhelm a room full of armed men, taking them down in mere seconds before they can even react, but this isn't all, because in the Justice League movie, he was able to react to and block Superman's heat vision with his gauntlets, with the movie guides outright stating that Superman's heat vision moves at the speed of light, which sounds crazy but is consistent with his other showings in the movie, with him being able to react to the Flash running, and being capable of dodging Doomsday's heat vision. He was even able to blitz right through Superman's senses, which is even more impressive when factoring in how good Superman's senses are, being able to hear and key into certain noises to help people all around the world, and Batman pretty much flash stepped around him, giving Affleck relativistic reaction and combat speeds. With prep, I can definitely see the brave and bold Batman coming out on top more times than not, but in a straight up fight, my money's on Affleck. Above Affleck is the future Bat, Terry McGinnis, who boasts a plethora of feats. For one, the DC animated universe's Batman was able to go toe to toe and beat characters like Bane, Clayface, and Croc, characters who all lie in the small building levels of attack potency and durability, with Terry being somewhat relative to Prime Bruce. He too would scale to this. Terry was also able to dodge a beam of radiation from the radioactive villain Blight, with radiation moving at the speed of light, and with Terry being able to react to it from various ranges. This will pretty much give Terry faster than light combat and reaction speeds, putting him on another tier of speed when compared to most of his contemporaries. This feat is also consistent with the fact that he's on par with Prime Bruce, who could dodge Darkseid's Omega beams. Outside of the fact that Terry's batsuit allows him to increase his physical strength by up to 10-fold, he also has a wide range of gadgets and suit functions, like his retractable wings, jet boots that allow him to fly, tranq darts, wrist lasers, cloaking devices, retractable claws, and a wide variety of explosives. When factoring all of this in, it's no surprise why he's so high on this list, but he still isn't as dangerous as the OG. Right above Terry is the OG DC animated universe's Batman, who is more durable than and flat out stronger than the Joker, who was able to survive being crushed by a gold bell. Based on the strength and length of the gold and the distance the bell fell, and the amount of damage it took, makes this a small building level durability feat for the Joker, and as I said earlier, Batman just outright scales above Joker, placing his durability at this level. He was able to completely overpower and sleep Ubu, who could casually break steel doors, and he could swap hands with Thanagarians, who can survive being lodged into boulders. He was able to react to and dodge Darkseid's Omega beams, with the likes of Superman not being able to. In this verse, the top tier members of the Justice League such as Wonder Woman, the Flash, and Superman have casual relativistic to light speed feats, with Wonder Woman being able to casually deflect attack from Amazo's lantern rings, which were stated to move at the speed of light. So Darkseid's Omega beams would have to be moving faster than light to even tag these members. Even when accounting for the fact that Batman anticipated the trajectory of the Omega beams, he would still have to be fast enough to even anticipate it, with some distance and people things between himself and the beams while evading it, giving this version of Batman faster than light combat and reaction speeds. When comparing him to his successor and the other versions of Batman on this list, he's also just blatantly way smarter than all of them. It's pretty obvious he's smarter than the Joker, the man he constantly thwarts on a day-to-day basis, the same Joker who was able to imprint his consciousness into Tim Drake through the use of a chip, and his intelligence is also on par and relative to characters like Lex Luthor, you know, a stated 12th level intellect who found the anti-life equation, meaning that this Batman likely boasts an intelligence that's leagues over entire technologically advanced civilizations. So when putting up against his protege and his other counterparts, it's likely that the other Batman wouldn't be able to comprehend what he would be thinking, and the OG Bat would easily predict the movements of Terry, reading him like a book before finding a way to shut down or limit his strength and tech, or he'd just outbox Terry. A lot of this was shown in the Batman Beyond tie-in comics, where an older washed up Bruce was shown combating Terry, pretty much telling him that skill and strategy will beat strength any day. But even with all his skill, he still falls short to the Injustice version of Batman, who's able to react to and tag the likes of Regime Wonder Woman, whose speed is relative to characters like Superman and the Flash, characters who are shown on multiple occasions to have massively faster than light combat and reaction speeds, ranges that this version of Batman would also fall within. Chronologically, at the time this feat was performed, the super pills the insurgency relied on to combat these threats didn't exist, so this feat applies to Batman's base, making him notably faster than his DC animated universe counterpart. He's also shown beating and off-screening characters like Croc, and is stronger than his other self who can combat a Venom-neck Bane and casually outperform Deathstroke, likely putting him in that small building level range. He also boasts a level of intelligence and prep that is honestly reminiscent to the mainline comic version of Batman, having his own set of contingency plans on his former leaguers, dropping a virus past Cyborg's firewall without him knowing, and creating a portal that could track their different dimensional counterparts, and being able to navigate past and circumvent Brainiac's technology, showcasing a level of strategy and intelligence a step above the DC animated universe's Batman. but he still leagues below his New 52 comic counterpart, who's capable of consistently combating and besting his rogues time and time again, with the vast majority of his rogues tending to scale over his counterparts' rogues gallery. I'll basically put it like this: his version of Deathstroke, Bane, Joker, and Croc are portrayed and shown to be deadlier, stronger, and faster than their Arkham, Injustice, and live-action counterparts, which makes sense due to these versions having more time and opportunity to have their capabilities and stories fleshed out, issues upon issues, opposed to say the Arkham series that has time restrictions that a comic just wouldn't have. Bane, for example, showed massive growths in power, challenging himself by amping several of Arkham's strongest inmates on Venom, and fighting and defeating them in base, beating characters like Killer Croc, a character when lowballed to the absolute degree would be in the building level ranges of power, with Venom verbatim being stated to be a 10 times amp. This would mean that a weakened base Bane beat a city block level Croc. Bane would then go on to amp himself with vats of Venom, and he was still eventually beaten by Batman, which would in turn have to place Batman's durability and attack potency in these ranges, making him astronomically stronger than his Injustice counterpart. Like Arkham Batman, he's mastered virtually every martial art form, but in my opinion, the great divide between these two versions when it comes to skill is comic Batman's rate of improvement. Take his previous fight in his past where he's been broken and bested by Bane on numerous occasions, to being able to beat Bane in more modern times. Or look at someone like Deathstroke, who, believe it or not, in the comics bested the Cape Crusader on numerous occasions, to having one of their more recent fights end in a stalemate and an eventual Batman W. This version of Batman has concrete, massively faster than light reaction speeds, being shown tagging the likes of Reverse Flash, casually dodging beams of light, and moving on par with Superman and Wonder Woman. So he's in those similar ranges as Injustice Batman when it comes to his reaction speeds. When evaluating his intelligence, this is where the gap widens between these versions, with him in his earlier days creating a being called Failsafe, an android capable of combating, anticipating, and defeating the entire Justice League, even being able to best Batman himself. His intelligence and intuition was also deemed worthy of wielding the true power of the Mobius chair, a chair that gives its user knowledge of the entirety of DC's cosmology. But even with all of this going for him, he still isn't the Darkest Knight. The Batman who laughs was on a whole nother level. I'm not even kidding. The combination of Batman's experiences, practical skills, and knowledge coupled with the unpredictability and the insanity of the Joker makes this one of the most deadliest beings in the entirety of the DC universe, showcasing a level of prep and versatility by being able to mask his Joker-fied presence from the likes of Superman, Nightwing, and Robin, characters who all rival and in some areas superseded Batman's intelligence. He knocked off the entire Bat family at once, and he was shown being able to combat and kill off the entire Justice League, which hosts a plethora of characters who are massively faster than light and solar system level threats. Although he's stated to be a bit physically weaker than the New 52's Batman, he's shown to be much more nimble and skilled enough to beat Batman, forcing the Dark Knight to resort to teaming up with the Joker to combat this ultimate threat on an equal playing field. So he'd be in the same range of striking power as Batman and would have slightly better combat speed, which just makes sense since he's the Batman who blurred the lines between vengeance and the Joker who isn't trying to prove a point, becoming the Batman who always wins. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more, and lastly, this is Destro, and I'm out.